Everlasting Prosperity of Japan by Ihara Saikaku, 1642-1693. Translation by Hideo Shingu, edited by myself, Barbara Baudot, recorded by Patrick Scotto in 2017. This tale is the first of 30 short stories by Ihara Saikaku. Its title is A Great Fortune Owing to the Worshipping of Kwannon at Mizuma Dera. The story begins with some observations about people in society. The sun benevolently gives us plenty of sunshine every day and every year without uttering a word. People in this world are truth-loving by nature, but some carry out every evil deed imaginable. What does nature say? Well, if all people were honest and righteous, the world would be very different. Today, people live decently, or not so decently, according as experience teaches them. Then, Saikaku offers wisdom concerning money and the best way to earn money. By far the most important thing to bear in mind, he writes, is the need to store money in accordance with the guidance of the goddess of frugality. This is wisdom for every person in every occupation, be they samurai, peasants, craftspeople, merchants, priests, or nuns. Money is the most dependable thing next to one's parents. No matter how long one lives, the end is always imminent. It is said that time passes like an arrow. When in the grave, all the money and assets stored during one's lifetime become as worthless as trash and waste. Bank accounts cannot be used to pay for transportation to heaven. However, they may be beneficial for the family left behind. There are only 5 problems that cannot be solved by money. Yes, money truly is a treasure. However, to become rich, one must be aware that investments are totally in vain if motivated by greed and with the purpose of getting rich quickly. One must follow the sure and safe road to becoming wealthy. This means laboring diligently while being faithful to the highest sense of honor so as to establish one's credibility in society. One should not so easily be carried away by the temptations of favorable, but nonetheless transient financial trends, but should remain faithful to the unchanging virtues of Buddha, as people have done for so many generations in Wakoku. Wakoku means Japan. It is customary for people to visit Mizuma Temple to worship Kwannon in February on the day of Uma. Uma means a horse. Kwannon, originally one of the highest disciples of Buddha, is one of the most popular saints who fulfills all the wishes of people. Old and young, men and women, people from various social classes, intent on gaining a fortune, come to this temple to worship Kwannon. They are not motivated by a deep belief in Buddhism. From afar, during cold, wintry days along barren roads where no flowers now grow, they travel to Mizuma Dera Temple, motivated only by their greediness. Kwannon herself is too busy to respond to each of these many visitors. Thus, from the shelter of her altar, she cautions, "There is no easy money. You will not become happy living an indolent life. You need not come here to pray for me to give you a fortune. To earn your fortune, you must work hard from morning until evening every day. During all seasons, men should cultivate the fields, and women should engage in weaving. You must realize that such is the happiest life attainable in this world. Alas, Kwanen's voice of wisdom does not reach the ears of the visiting worshippers. We all know that nothing is more dreadful than usury, but there is a long tradition of borrowing money from the Mizuma Dera temple. In this case, usury serves a virtuous end. When a person borrows $1 from Kwanen for a year, he or she must return $2 the next year. During that year between borrowing and returning the money, the person is expected to live peacefully while working hard. The same would be the case if one borrowed $10. Then one would have to pay back $20 at the end of the year. Everybody willingly returns double the borrowed money without fail, since the money is from the sacred and merciful Kwanen. I will pause here for an explanation. The listener may wonder why the dollar is used as a money unit in this story. In Saikaku's time, the units of money were man and kan, which was 1,000 mans. The dollar today expresses the modern equivalents of the amounts of mans and kans in Saikaku's story. Once a strong and sturdy young man, clothed in a lovely old-fashioned kimono with a short sword inserted in his belt, appeared at the temple reception table where money transactions were taking place. This man cried loudly, "Let me borrow $1,000. The monks engaged in money lending and borrowing, without thinking, automatically handed 1,000 coins to this young man, and, as was customary, without so much as a question as to his name or address. The man, not uttering a word, simply put the coins in his bag and left straight away. That evening, at the monks' daily meeting, the lending of $1,000 to one person was discussed. A high-ranking monk said, "Since the establishment of this temple, there has never been a case where $1,000 was given to only one person." He added, "It is hard to believe that $1,000 would be returned to Kwanen, let alone to assume that 2,000 would be returned." Then all the monks agreed that in the future they would prohibit lending such a large sum of money to one person. The young man borrowing this money was from the country of Musashi Edo, which is presently the Tokyo area. He owned an enterprise that managed fishing and trading ships at the harbor of Koami-cho. Koami-cho means little fishing net. He put the money he borrowed from Mizuma Dera Temple in a box bearing the label, "Happiness of Kwanen." He permitted ship owners to borrow the amount they needed when their ships left the coast for fishing and trading. The borrowers were given an explanation about the source of the money and the rules pertaining to it. Of course, Kwanen's money became very popular, and many ship owners around Musashi Edo came to borrow it from the box. All the borrowers diligently paid back twice the amount of money they borrowed. As a result, after 13 years, the Mizuma Dera money expanded from 1,000 to a total amount of $8,192,000. Then the young man who had borrowed the original $1,000 resolved to return the full amount earned from the various borrowers to Kwanen. He loaded all the money and coins on the backs of horses and traveled down from Musashi Edo to Osaka and to the Mizuma Dera Temple, a distance of over 300 miles. When all the money was unloaded and piled up in the garden of the temple, the monks were astonished and clapped their hands with joy. They said, "We will tell of this extraordinary occurrence to many future generations." Then they summoned numerous excellent temple-building architects and craftsmen from Kyoto, and with this money built a beautiful 3-story tower next to the main temple building. The young man's enterprise for managing fishing and trading ships continued to prosper, and he became one of the many wealthy merchants in Musashi Edo. He experienced great happiness and felt sincere gratitude for his fortune, thanks to Kwanen's money and its interest. This happening is celebrated by singing the No Music of Happiness, Takasago, wishing the happiness for all.